So if you can't tell by the thumbnail, this video is going to mostly revolve around these huge forks that I made. They are over 7 feet in length, completely from bottom tree or stem to axle. It's like 6.5 feet or something. It's stupid, who cares? But this video, I'm going to clean these up because they're just slowly sitting in my corner and flash rusting and kind of pissing me off just because they're ugly. But that's what you get when you make stuff in your garage, because I can't afford some beautiful, immaculate Springer. And speaking of that, these are solid forks. These are long enough that hopefully the bounce in the steel itself is enough suspension, but it's also a fully rigid chopper and it's gonna be uncomfortable as hell, so who cares? Another thing about these is a lot of people who have seen these on the internet already are constantly harping on me like, yes, it's dangerous, they're gonna break, they're gonna snap in half. Yeah, I know. These are super stupid and super long, and I've seen a couple other guys on the internet do it, and I can't afford their forks, so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna make my own. I made mine super heavy duty, better safe than sorry. They're probably about, I don't know, like, oh my God, like 50 pounds, 45 pounds. I'm just weak as shit. Probably a little more, honestly. That being is because the down tubes are made out of 1.25" tubing, OD, and then the inner diameter is actually 1 inch, and then there's a 1 inch solid rod ran the entire length of the forks down to the axle slugs. It is extremely heavy, but it doesn't have much give to it, and honestly, awesome. I don't care. The wheel flop is atrocious, but if you guys have noticed, there is flop chains on my on my frame, kind of hopefully to stop that. Also, who's gonna ride this? Probably me. I'm probably gonna scare the shit out of myself. It's nice knowing y'all, by the way. These right here, these nice big gussets, I noticed a lot of guys who did make their solid forks, you know, and just looking at old pictures, and I talked to a couple guys who do this stuff, their solid forks will break or shear right here at the bottom of the tree, where that is a heat affected zone where you weld it to the bottom tree. So I decided just to make it even heavier, because hell yeah. So what we're gonna be doing today is I'm going to be cleaning these up using slight Bondo in areas that are ugly and stuff. Then we're going to needle gun the entire length of the forks, because I'm not a big fan of big, flawless, shimmering chrome piece of shit dog forks. I have a chance to make something completely different, and I'm going to take that. Also, I don't want to take this to a chromer, dump a bunch of money into it just for them to break or something stupid, you know? But after we needle gun it and pit it, make it look like it's cast or something, I'm going to use aerosol spray paints to keep it thin, because you don't want to use like an epoxy primer or anything, because it'll actually cover up all those pits and you just needle gun for 5 hours for nothing. And also, it's easier to repair. These are gonna get chips and dings, and probably gonna crash this thing, honestly, knock on wood. Also, I want to use spray paint too, not fancy paint, because I'm probably going to have to put some reinforcement between these legs at some point, because as soon as I put that weight of this bike on this neck and I try turning, there might be some flex in the forks, but I don't know where that flex is gonna be yet. It's gonna be kind of hairy, so I'll probably have to put a cross member somewhere. So that'll be easy to grind off, weld on something, and then re-spray paint, because I have plenty of black spray paint. And you won't have to worry about layers of paint and everything, because it's really not that thick. After we do all that, I painted a picture. You'll see what it is. You have to watch the video. Bummer, I know. And I'm going to put that in the paint right here on the gusset. And honestly, I think that's gonna be super cool. I don't really see many people do that to their forks. So let's get to it. So we got the forks all cleaned up, and now we're gonna start needle gunning. But I'm going to open this guy up first, and in order to get the real good cast look, oh God, or get the real good cast look on these, you need to take your needles out, which I am doing right meow. Super simple to do. It may vary depending on your needle gun because we all don't have the same tools. Just like that. And now I'm going to take all of these over to my bench grinder and I'm going to sharpen all of the tips to get a nice big ping on there. So here we go. Gotta call it quits tonight. It's getting a little late and this is very loud. But I did one side and you can see a big difference. Now, I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna like this, but this just isn't their front end, is it? Personally, I like it because you can't chip up and dent up something that's if you already do it, you know? It makes it look like cast, which would be, this would be an impossible part to cast. Also, why would you? Because it'd be extremely brittle and most definitely kill you. I went ahead and needle gunned the other side. I still need to do the bottom side. I'm not really videotaping that because it is extremely monotonous. And I started, just taking a break from needle gunning, I started to sand this. And I think that I'm gonna, since the machining on these is so beautifully done, a friend of mine at Corey Creative Machine in Alton, Illinois did these for me. Since this machine is so beautifully done, I don't want to cover it up with paint. I think instead, I'm gonna end the black paint right here. But like I said, I'm not a professional welder. These will kind of shit. I'm going to actually doll up the step down because these are a little bit bigger outer diameter than my down tubes. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to Dremel out these little pieces that look like slime kind of. I have a very good example on my cam cover and I'll show that to you guys. And we're going to make two little collars that are gonna go on either side. We'll weld them on there and we'll smooth it all out and there'll be like a nice step down to a different color. And then I'm going to actually polish these up and make them nice and shiny. So I'll show you that cam cover right now. So here's that cam cover. I see a lot of Sportster chopper guys just cut it to, you can kind of see where the line is. They usually just cut it right there just to make this nice and small and very subtle. And I was like, you know what? This whole bike's different, so might as well make this a little bit different. And originally I was gonna do flames, but there's flames on everything. I'm gonna try not to put any flames on this bike. And I actually was like kind of thinking about what I was gonna do. And I go inside to my house, and my wife is watching Nickelodeon or something like that. And there was slime on the TV. And I was like, that's it. We're doing fucking slime. All right, folks, there's one side done. Like everything else, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other side without videotaping because I don't like being watched, okay? But I don't know if I like it yet, really. I mean, if SpongeBob were to ride a chopper, it would definitely have this on it. I think it's kind of cool because I've never seen anything like that before, but it reminds me of fish and it kind of makes me hungry. We've got both collars on there, so probably gonna sand them a little bit more, and then I'm gonna polish them up. Then we're gonna tape them off and leave them taped until we are done painting and everything. So enjoy the way this looks right now because you're not gonna see it again until the end of the video. Got one all buffed up. Little scratched up, probably didn't prep it right, but oh well, I don't really care that much. It'll match the rest of the bike. Remember, don't make things too nice or you'll never use them because they're too nice. You guys tell me that I forgot to tape the drips. Trust me, I know. I had a little bit of a realization after I buffed everything, which as you can see didn't take that long, so I'm not too worried about doing it again. Some of these strips need a little bit more sanding. They're not as rounded and they're still a little scuffed up because I guess I didn't hit it with the fine sandpaper like I should have, but they need to be sanded again. Also, I did tape these strips originally off camera and I cut them out with an X-Acto knife and I just couldn't get the edge to be the exact same all the way around all the drips. It was really monotonous and just really annoying. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to finish needle gun these forks. I'm gonna paint it all black, and it's gonna be black on here, which sucks because I already polished it. But after I paint it all black and get coats on it and everything, we're gonna come back and we're going to re-sand these, knocking off the paint, and then rebuff and shine these. Therefore, all that black primer will hopefully kind of fall into these little gaps between the drips and the down tube, and it will just kind of make everything look cleaner. And then the exact plateau, or the very top of these drips, will be the only thing that is shiny, and the edges will be black. So I think that's good, and hopefully it works out. If you guys can't tell, I'm making this up as I go. So I went ahead and hung these up for paint, and this is obviously less than ideal, but this is all about home-built choppers. I don't have a whole paint booth. This is what we have to deal with. But since they're standing up straight, you guys can see how big these are. These are just over 7 feet long. I'm 6 feet tall on a good day. This door behind me is probably 6.5 feet tall, or just under 7 feet. They are sitting on a block of wood, so a little bit of cheat right there. But yeah, they're really stupid. This is all really stupid. I might have put that paint on a little too thick. It happens, it's okay. I'm not worried about it though, because I did me a little test piece before I did any of this. I highly recommend you find a piece of scrap metal and do the exact same thing before you pull the trigger on any paint. It will save you a lot of headache. So if that paint does dry incredibly too thick and it does hide all my needle marks, I'm not too worried, because I can actually go back and needle gun again with low PSI. And this creates a very cool effect, because each spot where the needle smacks actually dulls the paint, and it still shines on the spots that the needles don't smack, and it really puts emphasis on that cast look. And we'll see if I want to do it to just the top to make it look like it's sun faded or vintage or something, and really add some emphasis to the curvature of the forks, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm making this up as I go, obviously. But now we wait for that paint to dry, and we'll see what we're working with after that. There's the first coat. You can see some slight texture. It'll probably look a lot better in the sun, as most things do. Boom, there they are. Probably the shiniest that they'll ever be, because I don't really like things that shiny. But I had a couple mistakes. I actually did heat this up too much in some spots where I was buffing, and it did bubble up that black paint. Whatever, we tried, took a risk. Some black nail polish fixed that up. Probably gonna go over it again. And if you don't like that, shut the hell up. You wouldn't have noticed unless I told you I just did it. So, also go to any old school biker's garage. I guarantee you will find some nail polish somewhere in there. It is a great, great easy fix for chips and paint and other things like that. Don't believe me? Ask your mama. And also, remember this giant space I was talking about? And I was saying we're gonna put some artwork right here? Well, here is the artwork. These are two like revolver style ray guns that I actually watercolored myself. And this is on water slide paper. There it is. This is stuff that you'll find at literally any arts and crafts store, and grandmas and moms like to use it to put pictures of their kids on coffee mugs and stuff. This stuff is super popular right now. I see it everywhere on YouTube. Dudes are putting on their choppers tanks. And honestly, go them because it's super fun to use. White moms have something figured out that us chopper guys are just now figuring out. Ooh. If you guys can't tell, I have a space cowboy theme going on with this. Yeah, this kind of looks cheesy and kind of like a sticker, which it is, but I don't care. It's my own original art on my own original forks, and none of this would exist unless I existed, which is kind of cool. So we're going to put kind of a sparkly glass coating, or I guess a glitter coating on this to kind of represent Metal Flake to really make this pop. And I'm telling you, it's going to make this thing look super cool. Hopefully it doesn't look too cheesy. If it does, oh well. So I have the PSI turned down on my scaler right here, or needle gun, how I've been calling it. And we are going to hit this again, and I don't think it's gonna take as long because it's gonna have much more rapid change due to the paint on here. Let's take a peek. Hopefully it doesn't fuck it up, or I'm gonna be pretty neutral, honestly. Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Let's hit it a little bit more so you guys can. Got to hit it dead on top, because if you go at this corner like this, it will actually chip up the paint, and that's what this thing is actually designed for, which we don't want to do. Neato. Okay. That has definitely given me more of the look I am going for. So I'm going to proceed to do that to the entirety of these forks. Again. Thank God it's not taking as long this time though. So here they are in all their glory. I have them displayed in my house so they don't get all crudded up in the garage with all the work going on and stuff. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram too for small updates at VinnyV123.